Welcome back, everybody, for another episode of Hoeology Podcast. This is your host, Destiny. This is going to be part 3 of the Sugar series, and this episode is all about setting the terms of your arrangement. I know it can be super scary to ask for what you want, especially in, being a sugar baby, because it seems like so silly, it seems like so unreal at times. But you really just don't want to undersell yourself. And if you're choosing to enter the sugar game, you got to be able to take the hard hits and just stand on exactly what it is that you want, because this is a transactional type of relationship. I mean, it's not quite as cookie cutter as a prostitution or escorting, but it's close. I always compare being a sugar baby to working a job, but it's a real relationship at the same time. Because just like in any job that you're getting or you're applying to, when it comes to that pay package or that salary or even that hourly amount that you're wanting, you're going to have to ask for it. Otherwise, they're going to lowball you. Now, I like to keep it a buck with you guys, and I wish that I could say that there was some secret formula for calculating the amount that you want or calculating the perfect amount to get or whatever. But really, there's so many factors and different types of arrangements that it's really hard to specifically pinpoint it. But I'm going to go through the different types of arrangements, the types that I've had, and I'm going to share with you guys how I came up with what I wanted, and then also go through the pros and cons of each type of arrangement. Okay, so the first is going to be the most popular, and essentially when you hear the word sugar baby, it's what you think of. So it's an allowance. So an allowance is an arrangement that is a agreed upon amount of money that is given directly from the SD to the SB. So I would say one pro of an allowance is that you can control what you do with the money. They aren't monitoring, or there's no specific amount. Well, there is, but you pretty much are in charge of your money. So once they give it to you, it's yours to do whatever you want. But there is a con, so it can be difficult to pinpoint a perfect amount. And if something happens or life circumstances change and you need more money, you're going to have to then renegotiate that allowance amount. And it is very hard to do so because your SD is typically going to be well, what am I getting different that requires me to give you more money? But if you really invest in them and you make them feel special, they're going to want to give you whatever amount you say, dead ass. You just have to really just invest in your sugar daddy and he will happily invest in you. The next type of arrangement is a travel arrangement. So this is pretty much where they will take you on trips with them, whether that's domestic or international, all expenses paid, and they'll even usually cover a wardrobe or something for you to get for the trip. The pro to this is obvious. You're exploring the fucking world for free. The con, though, is it can be difficult if you have a job or if you have limited free time, and a travel arrangement is not always a guarantee. So if you're seeing him or whatever and all you have established is that you want to be able to go on trips, that can get pretty boring pretty fast. Not saying the travel gets boring, but just saying the idea of only trips is what you're getting out of this arrangement. So just be careful with that. Next is going to be a shopping arrangement. So the pro of this is obviously it's fucking shopping. I have a shopping addiction, so this is a good one for me. But the con is you can only buy so much stuff. And I will say the more sugar situations that you go through, the more you look back and realize what did I come out of this with? If I came out and I had not have an investment portfolio now, or I have all this money saved up, fantastic, you were a successful sugar baby. But if you come out of it with all these YSL bags and Louis Vuitton heels and whatever, Tory Burch and Tiffany jewelry, okay, that's great, but what do you have out of it now besides these things that essentially you'd have to sell to have money for in the future? So that's what kind of I kind of turn my head at shopping sprees because you can only buy so much stuff. Next is bill payment arrangements. So basically they take over your bills. So hypothetically, I could be like, well, I'm just looking for someone to cover my rent and my car payment. Well, right there alone is like $1,700. So that's like an option for you. One pro of that is you can save your own money by having them pay your bills. And this can include stuff like your hair appointments, your nails every week, your wax appointments, whatever maintenance you like normally have, because those are bills too. You can include that in those bill payments, and that's just, you would go from there. Of course, the con is, though, they would have access to your information, and once the arrangement is over, all of those bills will then fall back on you. But hopefully in that time you would have had enough time to save. Lastly is mixed arrangements. So mixed arrangements are like, pick and choose of each one, or you can do one of each, or you can have them all if you want. The pro is you can get exactly what you need. It's kind of like Burger King, have it your way. But the con is you want to make sure that you're getting a decent amount of each to make the arrangement work for you. So you're probably saying, okay, Destiny, I've picked what type of arrangement I want, or you want the mixed arrangement. How do I ask them for the specific things that I want? Let's get into it. Regardless of where you meet your SD, whether it's online or freestyling, a time will definitely come where they ask you what kind of arrangement you're looking for. You need to have already practiced like asking specifically for what you want and saying it out loud confidently. Like, it's one thing to say like, I want $10,000, and then kind of sound like a shy dog or like a scared puppy. But it's one thing to say like, I want an allowance of $10,000 a month, and you're also going to pay for my car, and stand on it. Personally, I like to say one of the best ways to get good at asking for what you want as far as an arrangement is by saying it to the salt daddies. You already know that they're not serious anyway, but you want to be able to say it and handle the rejection, because when you cannot handle rejection, you settle, and sugaring is not the game of settling. Sugaring is the game of winning. So personally, each time I have encountered an SD, the terms are always different, and I always ask for a different amount, because you're going to want to like stack them like Legos. Like, there's no reason you should only ever have one SD. I don't care how much you like him. I don't care how nice he is. I don't care how much money she's giving you. I don't care. No, you always want multiple SDs. You're not spending 100% of your time with them. So that free time that you do have, you want to dedicate to other SDs, because guess what? That's more items for you, more money for you, more benefits for you. I can't stress it enough. And I have had SDs ask me like to be exclusive with them. Like, I don't want you having any other daddies. Well, then you're going to need to come correct with the amount of money that you're giving me. Like, straight up. That's what you need to say. If you have an SD, or you meet someone and you guys really hit it off and you're not sure of what's going on, be like, I just want you to know, like, I am not going to be exclusive to you. Or you don't have to say anything at all, truthfully. But if they ask, you can say, I'm not going to be exclusive without a higher form of, an arrangement. That's all you have to say. They can either continue to see you or go back out there and find another sugar baby, which we've all seen by now the state of sugaring. It's doo-doo in the water. But anyways, back to how I get my arrangements together. So here's how I calculate the arrangement that I want. I say whatever my biggest bill is plus half of that. In addition to that, I also want my daily maintenance kept up. Like I said, hair, nails, etc. My laser appointments are, I think I paid like $2,400 for like the laser package, but they don't need to know that it's paid off. You just give them the amount of how much it is. Also, I will throw in like, I want to be able to go out to dinner with you at least once a week. I want to go shopping, or if I am going shopping, I just send them a link to my cart, like send them my Amazon wish list, like things like that. I prefer mixed arrangements, which do include the allowance, because I like having money that I can choose to do with whatever, versus them just buying me stuff. Like, if I'm going to give you access to my Amazon wish list, please don't think that that's all I want. Like, I obviously want more. So that's why I say mixed arrangements tend to be like the best option in my book. So, but again, it's up to you to decide what it is that you are looking for. So once you get the flirting out of the way, you'll usually get a question, asking what kind of arrangement you're looking for, how much. They're going to be like, how much are you looking for? Always always, always say, in my previous arrangement, even if you're brand new to sugaring and you've never even had a previous arrangement, you always say, in my previous arrangement. Just like I said with jobs, if you make it known that you're brand new, you're going to get lowballed. And they're going to tell you, like, you're asking for too much or whatever. They don't know how much is too much. Like, obviously, I'm not asking for too much. I'm asking above your pay grade, and that means we're not a match. Next. Now, this is how you ask for what you want. Just like with what I put in my profiles, you guys are welcome to steal this, but this is my go-to. I would say, in my previous arrangement, I received a monthly allowance and had my maintenance taken care of, like hair, nails, wax appointments. I'd also go on trips with him when available, and I'd like to have an identical or similar arrangement. When you're asking for like an allowance, they're going to say how frequently. So I've personally had weekly and monthly, like I said. When I had a weekly allowance, I only got that allowance when I saw him, which is obvious. But in between time, he did send me like money for little shit. But if he like had his kids or something for a weekend, or they were out for the holidays, then I wouldn't see him for 2 weeks. So that's an allowance that I wouldn't get. So I didn't know though to ask for like those type of like details when I was doing my very first sugar daddy experience. So that's why I'm here with you guys, is to help you guys prevent that and hopefully get you guys better arrangements than I had. If you're just starting out, it's okay to not know exactly how much is enough to compensate for your time, but just remember that they either will or won't be able to meet that boundary that you set. But if you want $5,000 a month, then say, I want $5,000 a month. But know that it's going to take time to get that amount. You're going to have to weed through a lot of 3,000 a monthers, 300 a month, 300 a monthers, like, oh, I'd rather just, pay for whatever. Like, you're going to have to weed through that stuff. So stand on what you want, but just know that it is going to take some time. Something I also do when I'm, saying like, this is what I'm looking for, is at the end of that, ask them what they are expecting. So, just say like, oh, I want something that's similar or an identical arrangement. What are you looking for? And tell them to be specific. We are all adults here. Like, don't act shocked if they're like, oh, I want something physical. But truthfully, one of the most common phrases that you're going to see is, I'm looking for someone to have fun with. And you're going to be like, okay, great, Bob, but like, what does that include? And I say to ask for what they're looking for and to have them be specific, because in addition to getting what you want, it's important to know what you can and cannot accommodate with an arrangement. If they want someone who can travel with them at a month's notice and you work a 9 to 5 in an office, or you have kids, don't waste your time or theirs. Like, once you know what it is that you're looking for and they know what they can and can't give, just like with sugars and Splendas and salts, how they know what they can and can't, financially provide you with, you need to know what you can give them, because they are essentially investing in you just as much as you're investing in them. And when you try to take advantage of SDs, it ruins it for other sugar babies that can accommodate them. So don't be overly greedy, and don't be like, yeah, I can totally travel with you and all this other shit when you know you can't. So let's say you found someone who agrees to your arrangement terms. You now have to decide how you want to receive your benefits. So they're going to pretty much ask, well, do you have a bank? Do you have Cash App? Do you want cash? When are we going to start this arrangement? That's a really common question. But for the most common type, we're going to say, which is allowances, you have to decide if you want to give out your bank info, if you want to give them your Cash App, or you just want to receive the money in cash. So in the sugar world, we have a saying, cash is king. Essentially, you don't want anything to ever come back on you. So a perfect example of this is, let's say you're being a sugar baby to save money for a house. Well, you can't really have random amounts of cash and large amounts of cash deposited into your account without having to answer for that. So if you save your own money though and put that into a savings account and just use the cash for daily purchases, shopping, etc., then you're good to go. And I hate carrying cash, so I know how it is, but I swear to you, it's much better to just have the cash in hand. But if you're not saving for a house, run that shit up and just keep it in your bank account. I have seen girls though open like separate accounts and just give that info to the SD so that they don't have to have like their main account just, wide open. Let me just mention though, I have seen a lot of girls be like, oh, I just use a fake name. I just, do whatever, whatever. I personally don't ever use a fake name when sugaring. I just change the spelling of my name. I used to use a fake name, but it was really hard when they had my like bank account information or they needed it. And I just kind of realized like these men are in power. Like they are high status men, and so they have a lot more to fucking lose than me. Like I have their real name, I have their information. It's very easy to look these people up because they're CEOs, they're business owners. Like it would be much easier for me to ruin their reputation than them for mine. Like, does that make sense? So I just stopped caring. Like I stopped caring about using a fake name and creating a separate account. Like if you fuck with me, I'm going to the police and I have all of your information. I'm going on Twitter. I have pictures. Like, I'm doing that. We live in an age where it's very easy to get someone canceled very quickly. So, I don't really care about giving all my bank account information. Like, I don't care. But I do understand that as a new sugar baby, it can be overwhelming and you might not even, like, know what to do. So, you're like, give all my bank account information. But, girl, just do it. It's fine. Overall, I'd say setting the arrangement is the hardest part because you're going to be afraid and you're going to be nervous and you're going to kind of like brace for that impact of rejection of them saying no or whatever. But my first arrangement, I was just like outlandish as fuck with my amount and he agreed to it. So I was like, oh shit. And then after that, I was like, I'm never asking for anything less. And like each time, like I said, you get a new SD, you want to ask for more each time. Like there's no reason you should be stagnant with your arrangements. And like I mentioned before, each SD that you do have should do something different for you. Like, one might take you on trips and that's fine, and one might give you an allowance and give you shopping sprees and that's fine, and just kind of build it from there. But build like your perfect sugar world. And you're definitely going to experience a lot of lowballing, but I really can't stress it enough. Don't settle. Like, get exactly what you want. You're investing your time into this arrangement. They're investing, a financial side. So you should be equally compensated and fairly compensated for whatever it is that you want. If you guys want more like templates on how to ask for specific things within an arrangement, of course you can DM me on Instagram at Hoeology Pod. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you soon. Happy hoeing.